Good morning, EMSers. This is Wednesday of EMS Week 2019, and today is supposed to be EMS for children. I was trying to think of what to cover on this, and there was three areas of child safety that I wanted to talk about: bike safety, and then home playground safety, and drownings. Bike safety was probably the easiest of the three, and the simplest thing I can say, or the most important thing I can say, is to wear a helmet. Every child that is on a bicycle should be wearing a helmet. If you're allowing them out on the streets, try to do so during daytime and have them wear bright colors if you can. If it's going to be around dusk or dark, make sure that the bicycle has a light on the front and the back. And if you can, get them to wear some reflective stripe. I know they make some bands now that can go around arms. Not always the easiest to have a child to do, but you can try. And then also for the rest of us, it's summertime. We need to slow down. Kids are getting out of school. They're going to be outside playing. There's going to be balls bouncing across streets and kids running up and down the street. So whenever you're going through a neighborhood, slow it down, please. Pool safety. When we talk about pools, they're a staple for summertime down here in Alabama. But we have to do so safely. And I have a pool, and I have talked with our insurance agents, and they recommend something from the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and I'll put a link to that down below. But in it, there's several recommendations, and first is always good adult supervision, so having somebody watching the child at all times. But I know how kids are. I have several of my own, and I even have some grandkids now, and they can be sneaky and they can get away. So some other things they recommend is having some sort of fence or gate around the pool that has a self-latching and self-closing gate door to it. So even if you go through, it's going to close behind you and latch itself. And there's different types of latches, so make sure your latch is good and difficult for children to get to. They also recommend door alarms. So if a child were to open a door in your house, it would beep or chirp or something. I know a lot of security systems have those, and you can buy just a door alarm for just a single door if you want. And something that I'm looking into, I haven't gotten yet, but I'm thinking about doing it this year, is getting a water surface alarm, so that if it's something strikes the surface of the water or causes too big of a ripple or wave, the alarm will go off. And the idea here is you put it in the pool and it's sitting there, and then if the child does manage to sneak out and get away, as soon as they jump in the pool, it'll start making a terribly loud alarm, and hopefully then you'll run down and check the pool. And something that isn't always mentioned, but I think is really important, is teach your children how to swim. Being safe in and around the water includes learning how to swim. That way if something does happen, hopefully they can swim back to the edge and hold on, or swim back to the stairs and get out. So teaching them how to swim. Cities usually have some sort of pool or swim lessons with them. I know our YMCA here offers swim lessons, and I highly recommend both of those. For the home playground safety equipment, I'm going to go back to the Consumer Product Safety Commission because they have a really good checklist on this, and I'll put a link to that below. Make sure that if you're going to use some sort of home playground equipment, that one, is assembled properly, so follow the manufacturer's recommendations on how to assemble it. Two, put it in a place that's fairly level. When you're assembling it or finish assembling it, check all the bolts and screws and things to make sure there isn't anything that's protruding that could catch a kid if they fall. They recommend that if it's a toddler age, that the surface is no more than 4 feet above the ground, and if they're school age, that's no more than 6 feet above the ground. And any sort of platform should have railings around it. When you're putting it on the ground, you want to put it on a surface that has about 9 or more inches of some sort of impact absorbent material, like rubber mulch, even regular mulch, although that has some issues, sand, maybe even a little bit of pea gravel, but make sure it's 9 inches, and you want to make sure that it extends at least 6 feet around the equipment. When you're looking at the railings, you want to make sure they're no more than 3.5 inches apart. So a quick and easy way to do that is just to grab a spare piece of 2x4 and see if that will just barely fit between the railings. If it does, then that's 3.5 inches. Always consider adult supervision, although sometimes I know it's nice to send the kids out in the backyard and let them play a little bit, but check on them frequently when you do that. And one of the things, especially as we get into the afternoons, and I have personal experience with this right now. My wife, I think, is ready to strangle me. Make sure the surfaces aren't too hot. I happened to walk out on our deck barefooted just a couple of days ago, and I have huge blisters on the bottom of both my feet now from walking on a much too hot surface. So before the kid goes out and plays, make sure that the surface is not too hot. So again, mulch or some sort of impact, the rubberized mulch is probably best for about 9 inches and at least 6 feet around it. Make sure that the surface is relatively clear of trip hazards and things. Make sure the swings are clear front and back. They recommend about 8 to 10 feet of clearance on each side to make sure that the swing isn't going to hit anything. Make sure it's an appropriate height and it has some sort of railing around any sort of platform that you may have. Don't attach anything to the swing set like ropes or clotheslines or anything, because kids want to play with it and get out on it and they can strangle themselves. And again, supervision. Check on them frequently to see how they're doing. I hope you're having a great EMS week. We have plans for a video later today. I'm going to show you how to do choking, relief of choking. So if your child or infant chokes, I'll show you how to take care of that. And then we have Thursday and Friday left of EMS week. So I hope you're out enjoying it and that you're being recognized for the awesome service you guys do. Talk to you soon.